was so young. Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review. Rec and Reference No Youth. These guys are an experimental rock project. They are pretty anonymous from what I understand, and this is their sophomore LP. And this LP doesn't really fall into one set style or genre. Instead, these guys kind of jump all over the place and blend a series of things together, meanwhile making their own sort of unique direction. Maybe even some indie rock is mixed in there as well. But the greatest feat of this entire LP is that it creates such a noisy, abrasive, really kind of disturbing atmosphere with no guitars whatsoever. And I was pretty stunned because on first listen with this LP, I could have sworn that I had heard some guitars, but after revisiting with it, yeah, it's pretty clear. This album is comprised of nothing but synths and samples, as well as drums and vocals. And even though synthesizers are no stranger to any of the genres that these guys experiment with, to use them exclusively has led to some really unique, hellish, and twisted sounds. So if you do like your music to be the sonic representation of a dancing and singing teddy bear that loves to cuddle on cold winter nights, you may want to listen to another album. Because this is a legitimately creepy thing. I would go as far as to say freaky, and as I was re-listening and re-listening to it, I did feel kind of feelings of paranoia creeping in. Parts of this album really do kind of sound like the soundtrack to a murder, or at least an abduction. Now the sounds on this LP are stellar. It's basically where Rec and Reference kind of finds a way to beat the competition. The LP opens up with this really sharp, echoey, metallic rattle. It sounds like a transformer on top of a telephone pole has exploded. But this LP is not just random noise after random noise. These guys do figure out a way to take the noises they create and incorporate them effectively into their songs, like on the track Celestial, which has all of these atmospheric and just harsh, rough textures swirling around this track at hurricane speed that these guys have written, and it just brings so much intensity to the song. So overall, the production on this thing is great. Really fantastic sounds, just really unique textures. I think my only real gripe with it is that the drums could have been better recorded, but they are well performed. From the blast beats to the really slow and dramatic beats to the fills and the rolls. Another weak link in the chain, though, I would say, is the vocals. However, there are some spots on here where you do get retched vocals, like in black metal, screamed vocals that have a bit of a hardcore or a punk or a post-hardcore vibe to them. Those sound great. Some of the spoken word vocals sound great, but they can be kind of hit or miss, as well as the singing vocals. And I guess my issue would be is that they fall a little flat in that they don't really match the creepiness or the intensity of the music that they're singing over, and get kind of lost in the haze. I end up tuning them out, and they don't really bring a lot of personality to the track, I guess. And maybe even to a slight degree, kill the very disturbing vibe. I guess another gripe I have with this LP is the songwriting, the song structuring. Most of the songs on here range from about 3 to 4 minutes, but they feel so much shorter to me sometimes because I guess they do take a while to kind of pick up momentum, and once they grab it, it's not all too long before the ending is right there. And there are just some songs on here that I just wish were longer. For music this strange and this noisy, Rec and Reference definitely likes to kind of keep things brief, I guess, because a lot of these tracks do come off as just kind of being like motifs. But to kind of continue on the songwriting, there are some really great chord progressions, if not drones, on this album, like the track Cannot and Obedience. I am really impressed with the musicality of some of these songs too. Overall, I was pretty impressed with this LP. I think it's a great album for an up-and-coming group. There are those elements in the songwriting and in the vocal delivery that do feel a little weak to me, but I think it's fantastic that these guys can blend so many genres together. Have a track that feels more black metal, have a track that feels more drone, have a track that feels more punk influenced, and yet it all blends together so well. I'm feeling a decent to strong 7 on this LP. I like that these guys are coming out with a bold, interesting, and certainly unique, unquestionably unique style, but there are just things that I feel they could have done in building this album that would have just made it so much more above and beyond for me. What did you guys think of this if you've listened to it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Why? And what should I review next? Anthony Fantano, Record Reference, forever.